Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Goonies World. I am Meanie, also known as Ryan, and I am being joined by Goonie, also known as Colin.
Hello there.
Lunicorn, also known as Lynn.
Hello.
And running our, what I imagine will be the finale today, is our GM, Johnny Farrow, also known as Sean.
Hey, I am also known as Sean. And yes, this is going to be our last episode of our Top Men story arc. It's gone on long enough, and we're going to wrap it up tonight. And I will point out, this is episode 199.
Yes, and we have no plans whatsoever for episode 200. Nothing's going to happen at all.
No.
Nothing.
I don't think you should do anything special to commemorate that or anything.
We'll see if we can whip something together for our big 200 next time. But tonight we are going to go ahead and wrap this up. But we are playing Top Men. We're in the Egyptian city of Alexandria in the 1950s, following the adventures of the aforementioned top men who are agents in a shadowy U.S. government group that retrieves ancient artifacts of great power. And so you guys have been searching for the lost tomb of Alexander the Great, and started in Istanbul and followed a trail of clues and recovered Alexander's breastplate from a castle in East Germany. You snatched it out from under the nose of your rival, the renegade Belgian archaeologist Jan Donvil. And there's a strange map scratched in the back of Alexander's breastplate that indicated points of interest in a street grid of ancient Alexandria. And you went to investigate. With the help of a friendly professor friend, Saeed, you pinpointed a spot on the map represented by the symbol of the mystical dodecahedron as the likeliest location of Alexander's tomb. And so, avoiding Egyptian police, you delved into the ancient catacombs and tunnels beneath the city, where you tangled with some tomb robbers and accidentally discovered the tomb of Berenice II. Less exciting than Alexander the Great, but still. And you eventually met up with Athanasios, a Greek scuba diver, who helped you guys locate the entrance to Alexander's tomb, which is now submerged in the Mediterranean near the ruins of the ancient lighthouse of Alexandria. So after dealing with some deadly tiger sharks, you guys found a underwater tunnel that led to an air-filled chamber, a vast, unadorned half-dodecahedron dome, where you indeed found Alexander's sarcophagus. But just then, Jan Donvil and several henchmen appeared from the water. They had apparently kidnapped Athanasios and forced him to lead the way here. So he forced you guys to open Alexander's golden coffin, and there was a glass coffin inside it. And inside of that, it was completely and totally empty. And when your buddy Athanasios laughed about the irony of all this, the enraged and frustrated Jan Donvil shot him in the head. And now he's turned his anger on the top men. And this is where we begin. Now, mind you, Jan Donvil is flanked by 4 henchmen, all of whom have harpoon guns. They all got wicked-looking daggers on their sides, but you don't see any firearms in evidence. And, of course, everyone, including you guys, you got the big flippery feet. You know, you're wearing scuba gear. You got the wetsuit and the tanks on your back, so it's all kind of awkward. We're not going to assess any penalties or anything, but we'll just remember that. And we should go ahead and roll initiative, because these guys look very dangerous. Ooh, I roll a nothing, all blanks for my henchmen, so they will go on good.
I got a fair.
Okay. And how about you, Lynn?
I got a great.
Okay. Yeah, how about Mr. Smith?
With 3 minuses, that's going to be fair.
Okay. Go right before Colin, because you are more physically badass than he in the combat arena. And okay, so on a great 13, you'll go first, immediately followed by Jan Donvil. So what do? You can see he's just about to move. Now, he was the only guy who had the gun. I said that there was no firearm in evidence, but that was among his henchmen. You know, he had you guys covered.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I will blast him with my 357.
Okay, out it comes, and you fire. He weaves and out of the way, trying to make a nice defense roll, and he has a great defense roll, so we'll see how much higher than that you can roll.
I have a great combat
Okay.
roll, so-
It is an inconclusive round as you struggle against each other and weave and dodge. You fire the gun, and it's not like a bullet per roll. When you take when you use your gun on a turn, we can assume you're blamming away a little bit. He's doing the dodge and the weave, and he's surprisingly spry for such a little fellow. Remember, and he once claimed to not be the physical match of you guys, but he's certainly spry. And he immediately follows, taking a shot at you. And he gets only a good result, though. So you might make your defense roll.
Fair.
Well, you do take a wound of damage there on your wound track as the bullet grazes your arm. He laughs just with disdain and then stands up from where he just rolled and shot. And then on good, his henchmen go. And you hear the twing, twing, twing as some harpoon guns go off. And both Stu and Mr. Smith, make some defense rolls for me because you guys are getting shot at with harpoon guns. From the
Superb. That time.
You dodge out of the way easily.
I
How about you, Stu?
have gotten great.
Okay, you guys avoid being harpooned by two of the guys, but hey, you know what? There's two more left. I think they'll hold their harpoons in abeyance. And that is all that happens there is two of them hold back to see where they want to deploy themselves, and Mr. Smith, the action falls to you.
Well, he's inclined to. I'm assuming now we've got these wetsuits on, so they would have had to have gotten undressed, and he would have had to probably leave some of his weapons behind because I don't imagine that the holsters were all.
Yes, but if he even
had
had 1/4 of his weapons, it would still be ridiculously more weapons than anyone else would carry.
True. Yes. So I imagine that he's got them holstered around and about outside. So yeah, he will shoot at Jan Donvil.
And why?
Because he being the apparent leader.
Oh yeah.
And that will also be superb.
It's more than apparent. He will take. He cries out. He does take a tick of damage as your bullet grazes his thigh because he only gets a great. And then how about you, Stu? Codename Black Cavendish.
Is there any particular cover in this dome?
Well, there's one great bit of cover, and it's obvious, and it's the only thing, which is the sarcophagus itself. But that's a pretty big affair, right? It's not just like a little coffin laying on a table. It's this huge central feature of the room. Most of it's like 80% stone, and then inside that was the gold one, and then inside that was the glass one. So I would say that's cover in the middle of the room.
I will kind of dive behind it and say, "Don't shoot me or you'll destroy the coffin. This is madness. You're not going to accomplish anything by killing us."
Oh, but I don't know. I think it would accomplish a great deal. Certainly will accomplish the removal of a thorn in my side for now and the future, says Jan Donvil. And it's 13's turn. We are back up to the top of the round.
All right. I'm going to take another shot.
And he sees you starting to shoot, and his eyes meet yours. And there's a nervous moment, and he lunges for the left just as you fire. He has only a mediocre result, though. Oh, Jan Donvil.
Good.
Okay,
Good result.
Then he is now ticked off 3 times. And you can see him. You can see that little flicker of fear behind the eyes at this point. But he still has the advantage of numbers. 2 of his guys are still fresh and haven't even fired their harpoons yet. He goes ahead and laughs bravely and fires his gun at you directly, 13, and gets a, oh my, I hate to tell you, a legendary result. Incredible roll for Jan Donvil. Aha!
I got a pretty darn good roll myself. It is... Oh. Wait, I'm starting it good. It is legendary +1.
Oh, my. The rage behind his eyes. He felt so confident and cocky about that shot.
I think
Take a swagger.
pretty darn good roll should be one of the categories. Pretty darn good.
Yeah, it really should be. In fact, the beauty of this, we could name him whatever we want. Yeah. We should rewrite the whole... Yeah, pretty darn good. It's fair. It's passing fair. You know. Well, we still have two guys who haven't fired their harpoons yet. And they both, again, fire at Stu and Mr. Smith. And then... It's kind of thing, they can't just keep firing harpoon after harpoon. So now none of the four of them have them. And they have a great attack result. So hopefully you can avoid it.
Would I have any, bonuses for being behind cover?
I think that's a fair question, and I think you should get a +1.
Okay.
And then don't forget, you guys aren't wearing your jumpsuits, but I got to think that the scuba suit would provide just as much, as much protection as a jumpsuit would. So you should still get a +1. I mean, you're not wearing your jumpsuits under it, but...
Well, I do take a tick of damage.
Oh, my. Well, you do take a tick of damage. The harpoon luckily doesn't. He's not so bad that it harpoons you, it sticks in you. But, cuts, and, last one of them. And I'm going to start telling you their names, because I name them. That's how I keep track of them, right? So they can't just be like, guy number 1 takes 2 points, you know. But, it was Mustafa. Mustafa who fired at you just now and hit you. And, of course, his buddies Salam and Ahmed and Little Ramses are here, too. So, they're all straight from the streets of Alexandria, working for cash today.
And by the way, I got a good result.
So, you take a couple ticks.
Okay.
And Mr. Smith.
Yeah, and I'm going to, of course, take another shot at Jan Donvil.
Yep.
And he shoots legendarily.
Oh, my. Jan Donvil has only a great result, and therefore will take more damage. Now, he is hurt, and he's now at a penalty in his actions from this point forward. And how about you, Stu?
I will kind of pop my head up and shoot my revolver at, I guess probably, well, the guy that just shot me.
Yeah, well, that was Little Ramses.
Okay.
Yeah, fire at Little Ramses. He's a...
And I only got a fair result.
Okay, let's let him make his, that's a bunch of -1, so, well, he, has a fair result as well, so it's inconclusive, but, and now is top of the round with Agent 13.
All right. Firing another shot at Jan.
Okay.
Superb.
Okay. He's got, wait a minute, no plus. Well, he has at least a superb, so, yeah.
Tricksy little guy.
I'll not continue this dance with you.
He's slippery. Slippery.
Yeah, I will show you how slippery I am. And he takes a knife out, disdainfully throws down his gun, takes out a knife, and rushes in at you. I tire of this dodging bullets. And his friends rush in with knives. One of them swipes at Mr. Smith, but only has a mediocre result. So unless you roll very badly, Mr. Smith, the first knife attack
Nothing.
from Ahmed when I hit you, but Salam goes and attacks you as well with his knife, and he has a great result. How do you do with that one?
Good, so I will soak it.
Okay, soak it. And Stu, also, Mustafa and little Ramses rush in at you with their knives now. And Mustafa has a fair result against you.
Okay, I also got fair.
Okay, and then little Ramses, who's actually a really big guy, it's an ironic nickname, gets a good result.
Oh, I had 2 on
Yeah.
me. Okay, let me...
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Terrible.
Okay, terrible result. Oh, don't forget your +1 for
Okay.
some
Poor.
cover, and don't forget your +1 for some armor from your scuba.
Okay,
Your
mediocre.
defense roll. There you go. Work that back up. It's not quite so terrible after all. In fact, not quite so terrible should be one of the categories in
Quite
this.
so
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm certainly hurt and have a -1.
Okay, and so is Jan Donvil. Nevertheless, he has closed the gap between you and he, and now he's in your face, and you can smell the garlic from his brunch on his breath as he's got the knife like high up, it's like high up knife fighting with a high elbow, like he's going to stab in at your eyeballs and your face, and he's kind of doing a little dance in front of you, although you're taller than him. So anyway, it's your turn, but that's the setup. 13.
Okay. I am going to... Actually, I'm going to continue using my gun, I think. Oh. Wow. That's just ridiculous. Legendary +1.
Legendary +1. Well, Jan in front of... Uh-oh. Oh, Jan. Oh, Jan. Our friend Jan is teetering now at a -2. And he turns as he's about to rush back for the water, flapping on his little feet. And then it is the turn of the henchman, who go ahead and one more time make knife attacks on Stu and Mr. Smith. And we'll start with Stu this time. One of them gets a good result. Stu.
Okay.
We'll all remember good.
Good.
Good is the word. Good. Good is the word as we roll to oppose good. Good being the target.
Okay, I only got a mediocre for that.
Okay. And the second, little Ramses also makes this he also gets a good. A good from little Ramses
Okay.
on you, Stu. Yep.
Also got a good.
Okay, that's good. Yep. And meanwhile, Salam takes a vicious knife swipe, and Mr. Smith scoring a great result.
He is outdone by my superb result.
And he did not make contact. And then Ahmed has a very poor result, so unless you just roll terribly.
I got 2 superbs.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You are ducking and weaving, they can't land a blow. And now they see their leader scampering for the water. Are they the types to cover his retreat? Anyway, it's your turn, Mr. Smith. What do you do?
He's going to take another shot at Jan Donvil because I want to get his ass out, and that's going to be legendary.
And when I see that he's...
Actually, legendary +1 because I've been forgetting to add the gun +1.
Okay.
When I see that he's pointing and he's going to shoot Jan, I want to yell, shoot the tank!
Well, and he is back to me and
Yeah,
heading for the water.
and it's
so
a very
yeah.
high roll, so could be like a cold shot. And, well, it's enough to get our friend knocked out of the action. And with their huge legendary result, yeah, you do hit the tank. But this also, be damage to him. And you hit the tank, and boom, there's a huge rupture. And obviously the air is under compression, and it's going going to force its way out. And so a huge hole rips open in the bottom of the tank, and then he kind of spins around ass over head, over head, over ass, over head, and crashes right into the roof of this half dodecahedron drone. A sickening crack. His head just tilts to one side. He falls down limped to the ground with a right there in front of 13, almost right where he left from. And you can see from his dead eyes that Jan Donvil will plague you no longer. And just then, with cries of dismay, all these guys, they're cousins, and they're in way too deep. And Mustafa first, quickly followed by little Ramses, and finally Salam and Ahmed rush off to the water and, put their masks on and their breathers in and dive and try to get the heck out of here. Do you want to let these hired ruffians go, or do you wish to track them down and exact revenge?
It's been my policy to let people flee unharmed, although that hasn't always worked out. But I'm in no position to go swimming after them and trying to murder them.
Yeah, you're kind of bleeding there, Stu.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, Mr. Smith is going to pick up the corpse of Jan Donvil and extricate it from its wetsuit and drop his nude corpse into the sarcophagus after removing the gold interior one and close the lid on it. Be like, well, making a joke, something about, well, next time somebody comes to find Alexander, at least they'll find a body.
I will give somebody a shock, at least for a little bit, until they might think he's been preserved because he's a god or something. Then they'll figure out that it's not Alexander.
Well, as you do that,
the missing Belgian,
the Belgian link in the ancient.
Let's see who you really are.
Yeah, he would have gotten away with it if it weren't for the top men. But anyway, so you close Jan Donvil into the glass coffin, and then you hear a giggle when you do that. And you turn around because you thought everybody was gone, and Athanasios is sitting up and shaking his head. And he pulls the wetsuit off his head, and it shakes his, little mane of dirty blonde hair, and tilts his head just to one side and looks at you, and he says, I may be immortal, but I cannot tell you how bad that stings when that happens. And then there's
my friend,
something.
You said you're immortal.
And then you see there's something about the way he's tilting his head and that mane of blonde hair. And he's short, powerful, something about the chin. Flashes images of the most ancient carvings and images of Alexander that you've seen.
It can't be.
Flash before your eyes.
No.
I'm afraid so, friends. I lied to you. I'm not from Naxos.
You're from Macedonia. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm going to take my fudge dice and guess that you are Alexander the Superb.
Yes. I am Alexander. My father, Zeus, made me immortal. It's a gift that was only granted to one other of my brothers, the mighty Heracles. I often wonder where he is, what he's up to. But for centuries I
He's
slept
in the
here,
Avengers,
actually.
I think.
He's in the Avengers? Oh, good for him. Good for him. But no, but I did sleep here for centuries. And I was so constantly interrupted, of course. Those would seek my earthly treasures, plundering, staring at me. So I rose back up, and I did the only thing I have ever been good at, which is soldiering. And I fought with Scipio Africanus against Hannibal. And, I was there when the Crusaders took Jerusalem. And I fought with Henry V at the Battle of Agincourt on St. Crispin's Day. I helped Wellington defeat Napoleon. And I was there when Lawrence unified Arabia. That was a good one. That was a fun one. And, of course, I was with the vanguard of the Soviets when they took Berlin. They called me Ixander. But now I am weary. I never wanted to conquer the world, you know. I only wanted to unify it, but the world wasn't ready, and it's still not ready.
Alas, it is not.
I'm at a loss for words. I mean, we have come across in our adventures some pretty crazy things, but a living God has got to top it.
Well, I'm not a god. I just don't die.
Well, you could have fooled me. I mean, I wasn't exactly a believer, but, I mean, if you're the son of Zeus, I don't know what else to call you.
What is Zeus, though, now? See, what I've learned throughout these millennia is that it is belief that creates power. My father has no believers, therefore he is no more. This great sky god descended to become an aerial sprite, and finally nothing. And yet here I am, and I am weary, and human belief is so fickle. And so we cease to believe, and the gods cease to be. So now this immortality is a curse. I want to go back to sleep. I trust.
I can't advise that. I think of what an asset you would be if you joined forces with the United States. We could have the ultimate weapon against the commies. Don't tell me you're a commie. Now, I'd be very disappointed. But we could use you on our team.
Well, I've heard this speech before, and I've been seduced by it before. As I told you, I've been in all those wars and battles, and I'm done with them. But something tells me that wherever you're taking this thing, he gestures at the coffin, whatever you thought you were going to find here, that you can take it somewhere very safe and very private, where a man can get some rest.
We can.
Yes, we have many facilities where we house our relics and other things, biologics, whatever. But it would be quite a shame. But I understand you've been around for a very long time, and I imagine that it can start to be a drag after a while.
Indeed. However, I will tell you that the glass coffin does have certain properties. Your friend there, Jan Donvil, he will not live on, but he will never decay as long as he is within that coffin.
I have come across...
Sell him.
Excuse me, I'm talking... No. I have come across this miraculous preservation in some Catholic saints that have been... that have not rotten due to their holiness.
It's a wonder I did not end up as one.
Well, that should be... that was a mistake on their part.
Well, no, I'm all yours, but I will not help to fight any longer. I'll be happy to answer questions, but I will not be poked and prodded or any other such thing. What I wish is to sleep, and if I wish to go into a very deep sleep, nothing will wake me if I do not choose it. As I say, I slept for centuries before.
Well, I guess that's your decision. If you wish to slumber. Right now, we just finished, I'm sure you're aware, quite a large war. And
Oh, yes.
now we're in the midst of a so-called Cold War. We hope to avoid World War III. But if it arises, maybe you just might see fit to open your eyes once again, but I'll leave that up to you.
Well, perhaps someday, when the world really needs me, then I'll wake up. But for now, as much as I'd love to let our friend lay there and never decay, I must take my bed back.
So is he talking about the gold one or the stone one?
The glass one.
Or I thought it was gold for some reason.
Well, it was a glass one
There's
inside
glass
the gold
inside
one.
the gold. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My intention was to remove the gold one and the glass one from the stone one and put Jan Donvil in the stone one.
Okay, good. Luckily, you didn't put him in the glass one, because this is where I wish to lay down and sleep. Well, good luck getting me out of here, by the way. You should just be light enough to carry in the water.
Is this airtight? Hope so.
I don't believe that will affect it. And now, thank you all for taking me. I hope I'm not surprised where I wake up.
No, you will be safe in the hands of the U.S. government in an undisclosed facility, and you don't have anything to worry about.
I have some contacts at the Pentagon. We'll get you secured in an undisclosed location. Probably Nevada.
As long as it's quiet. That is what I wish now. Quiet and rest and a dreamless sleep. And hopefully someday, death. But until then, I'm all yours. Then he closes the lid of the coffin and composes himself in sleep. And,
Good night, Alexander the Great. Good night.
It's an honor to meet you.
Sleep well, my prince. And he's gonna.
I was gonna just keep going. I was just gonna keep going with it, but then I'm like, man, I was like get in there and
Tuck him in.
pinch his cheeks and tuck him in.
I was gonna
look him
kiss him on the cheek and
Are you
brush his
comfy?
hair.
You need another pillow under your little head?
Yeah.
You want a glass of milk?
Warm milk before you go to sleep. Yeah, sweet dreams.
Teddy bear?
Alexander's great. Yeah, and that's exactly where he's going to end up. It's probably some undisclosed facility somewhere until he is needed again someday.
Yeah, we gotta find like a bat signal or something or some sort of sign so he can tell that he's needed.
I'm just imagining essentially a bat symbol, like one of the big lights shining in the sky, except it's just like the Omega symbol or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they while he was sleeping, the government is made this superhero suit that he can wear with the Omega symbol on it.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I was thinking that if this were in the Cave City universe, that's where he would end up. But I thought before about introducing him as a character in the Cave City universe,
Yeah.
So it doesn't really... Cave City doesn't really have a mythological type,
No, they don't have any Thors or anything.
Thor analog, really, something like Alexander the Great or Achilles or whatever. But maybe this isn't the Cape City universe. We never said it wasn't, But go to an undisclosed facility in Cape City.
Yeah. If you can't go to Cape City, Bane would find him.
Yeah, well,
it's true.
At this time period, he would be shipped to Bane Senior. But
yeah, that's true.
But a lot of people now might not know what we're talking about if they don't know Cape City. So.
But you will soon enough.
Soon enough, you will. That's right.
Yes, you will.
Yeah. Well, now we got to worry about, though, like he said, how to get him out of here, because it's going to take some maneuvering through the water. And then also, you've got Egyptian police looking for you, and you're pushing this glass coffin around now. And so there you go.
Well, yeah. I was hoping that it was airtight so that at least the glass would float a little.
I see no reason why it's certainly not going to be so heavy that you can't, the three of you move it underwater.
If it's buoyant, it'll float. It'll be kind of hard to get under the water. Probably,
yeah.
But I'm sure we can manage.
Yeah, it's nothing that can't be managed with time and effort and experimentation. And luckily, that's what you got. But you still can't quite believe everything you've seen. And even now, you look down, is this just some crazy guy asleep in a glass coffin? Or, it's hard to say. He certainly doesn't seem like the same fellow you met yesterday. His accent seems to have completely disappeared anyway. But anyway, you guys eventually, it takes a while. You push your way back through the tunnels with their mosaics. You're going backwards now in Alexander's life. And you get to where you entered, and there's that illustration again of the woman laying in the bed with a snake getting hit by a lightning bolt coming in through the window. His supposed conception. And back out into the waters, which are still cloudy with chunks and tiny ripped bits from the feeding frenzy that was out here earlier. But luckily, the Athanasios' or Alexander's boat was still moored up here, and you can see the shadow of it up above you, even though it's getting into evening. And you break the surface, sunlight's slanting almost horizontally from the west, bathing everything in this really lurid light. And the water almost looks golden. And you're able to get it back up onto the boat and back over the water. Remember, there's a construction site nearby where they're building a gas station. But the closest thing to is the ruins of the lighthouse of Alexandria. But beyond that is just more city. So now you're at the docks. You got the boat. You've got the coffin. You've got yourselves. And, of course, your other clothes and stuff are probably up here in the boat, No one's rushing up here to, see what you're doing or take a look at you right now. But obviously moving something like this through the city is going to be awkward. So you've got that challenge. And then how to get out of Alexandria itself. So that's where we leave it. And we certainly have time to figure all that out.
So, where are we? Like, what body of water are we on?
The Mediterranean.
Okay.
Yeah. The Mediterranean itself, as it laps the shores of ancient Egypt.
So I assume there are other boats around.
Oh, yes. Many, many, many dozens of boats around. And people, too. It's just no one right now. They're going there, they're doing boat things and coiling rope and, they have no reason to be staring over at you guys and what you're doing. No hostile people around.
Is there a radio on the bridge?
Oh, I would imagine there must be. And it's not so much a bridge, but yeah, I'm sure he has a radio. Yeah, he's an enterprising fellow.
I wonder if I would know, I probably wouldn't, actually. but I'm kind of wondering if I would know what frequencies, like, NATO military in the area might be using.
Well, I think that a person who's good at combat might make a good guess at that. So why don't you make a combat roll? I think that's probably reasonable. It's like up there in the. I think it was, as long as it's not bad, if it's good at least. I think
Well, it evened out with minus plus for a great result.
Okay, yeah, I think you'd eventually be able to tune that in. So you sit there and looking for the right frequency, making a few educated guesses. And eventually you get, hey, and you're listening to NATO on... No.
NATO in the morning.
NATO in the morning, right? Going out to the Western Hemisphere. Yeah. So, yeah, you do find the NATO frequencies.
Okay.
You don't happen to know anyone in NATO, do you?
No, not in NATO. I do have, like I said, I have some contacts at the Pentagon, though. So if they can put me in touch or like relay some messages, we might be able to get some traction.
Mm-hmm. Might be worth a shot.
So yeah, go for it. Try to make a call. See what you can do. And of course, don't forget with the creation of a contact, it's pretty much what you want. Whatever you think's plausible. Just like what was that? Mr. Albishawish, was that the Lynn's contact?
Von Bishawish.
Von Bishawish, and then of course
Von Bishawish.
Huh? Bishawish. Is that Polish or Bishawish? I don't know.
Yes, I believe it is Polish.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and of course Saeed bin Laden was Stu Grant's contact, but we haven't met your contact yet. So tell us all about your pal.
Well, probably not a super high, like 4-star general or anything, but he's like a Pentagon desk job kind of guy. I don't know. I don't know military well enough to know what kind of rank he might be.
Yeah.
A low-level general or admiral or something, depending on the branch. But I was Mr. Smith was in the Army, so I would assume it'd be like an Army general or something.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he's at least a colonel, right? Some colonels with some very... the very lowest, I think he'd be a colonel.
Yes, yeah. Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. Colonel Sanders.
And he'll help us out because
I heard he makes great chicken.
Well, I was going to make a similar joke and say that I know he'll help us out because he's never chicken, but anyway, yeah. So I'll radio over on a a NATO or U.S. military frequency, and I don't know how you'd go about suggesting that you were like covert ops or whatever, but yeah. Well, how would you word that?
Well, I don't know, and of course, I wouldn't worry about overthinking it because in the world of the top men could be almost anything. But yeah. However, though, they are eventually able to get you into contact with him, or however that worked out. And you know the code words, and you've been.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, maybe there's like a
Mr. Smith does, but I don't.
Yeah, but he might know like some kind of code to give, like, or just like a series of numbers, like to authenticate his clearance or whatever,
Yeah, I mean,
Operation 11 Herbs and Spices.
Actually, I was thinking that the organization should be referred to as like Tango Oscar Papa, in like communications to be
All right. Yeah. Well, eventually, this all goes through. And through various, in fact, whatever sequence or code, code that probably is only known to Colonel Sanders. Is why it's the very fact that you know him that gets you out of this. The people you're talking to don't even know who the top men are. Right? So, but if word gets back to you again, highly coded and highly oblique, that they arranged a pickup for you, a place in the Nitrian Desert, Wadi al Natron. It's an old ruin of a monastery there. About an hour or so out of the desert, so you're going to need to get a truck or something. But lo and behold, just then, there's a truck approaching you, and it's Saeed. He's leaning out one side. His oldest son is driving, and he's waving his arm at you. And he drives down the dock. There's some chickens run out of the way, and comes rushing onto the boat, wide-eyed, looks down at the glass coffin.
Oh, I'm so glad you came, just when we need you.
I cannot. He grabs a tarp and covers it up. We must quickly go. I've come. I know they're beginning to search the dock areas now. Please, there's been some talk. There's been some men were arrested. They said there was trouble in the waters. We must go quickly.
Yes, we're headed to the desert.
Desert.
Yeah, we got a pickup coming. If you can just get us to the desert, we might be okay.
Oh, but the desert. Where in the desert? And then I imagine you probably don't remember what I said. Wadi el Nasrun. Oh, yes, Wadi el Nasrun. Of course I know.
So is this just like a pickup truck? Or?
It's like a covered utility truck. So, yeah, it's like basically a pickup truck with a canvas and metal frame canopy in the back, And not quite as big as the one they tried to drive the Lost Ark away in. It's like a smaller Pee-wee type version.
Well, we'll get your son to help us put this in the truck. What's his name? Osama? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No.
Little Osama there to help us out.
No, he's little Saeed. Little Saeed will help
Jr.
us. But quickly, I know they're making a search. Jupiter Street. There are many police vehicles, many men knocking at doors. Someone very high up is pulling some strings on this one. We've made some very powerful enemies somewhere. Not just Jan Donvil, but whoever his puppet masters are.
Yes, but we've made even more powerful friends.
That's correct.
Maybe.
Yes.
I see you have. Anyway, a friend is what I'm proud to call myself, so we must go quickly. And you guys get the tarp-covered coffin back up onto the truck, and he and his son get into the front, unless one of you guys wants to drive. Unless one of you should drive.
Yeah? I think he should drive, and I think we should all be in the back under the tarp.
Then, yes, we shall go. Let's go. And he drives off. Now you can hear the truck roaring through the city for a while. And he stopped at a checkpoint at one point. And you can hear him talking with people. There's some laughter. And you hear him go, no. And after your hearts go up in your throats for a little bit, and he keeps on driving. And then soon the sounds of the city die away. And even through the tarp of the truck, there's a dryness to the air. And after about an hour, and of course if you peek out at any point, you can find you're out in the desert. You're surprised how multicolored it really seems once you're out in it. Just a lot of rocks here, a lot of rock formations, not just endless dunes of sand. And some of them are really striated in different colors. It's quite beautiful. And then there's some ruins up ahead after about an hour and a half of driving, really, at pretty good speeds. There's some old ruins of Wadi el Natron. But by now, you can hear the sound of helicopters in the background once you turn off your the truck. And he gets out and opens up. I can hear you have someone coming in to pick you up. I hope it is helicopters because I hear them. And then you hear another louder engine though coming from the north. Your eyes swing around because there's a lone helicopter, like a larger Huey-style helicopter coming in fairly low, in fact. And these lighter copters are coming from the northwest, which would be where Alexandria was if they're chasing a truck out into the desert. And so they swoop in and begin firing. They're getting here first, these little ones. And they're like those little type of, almost look like little wasps. They're basically just like a glass bubble, with a little superstructure coming off of it. And one guy flying and another guy leaning out with a machine gun. I mean, these aren't like mounted guns on these little Egyptian helicopters. And everybody make defense rolls as they rake the ground. Clouds of dust or dusted sand and small rocks flying up everywhere. And so anyone, well, I hope everybody got at least a good one.
Got a great.
Oh, good.
As did Mr. Smith.
I am injured, so I would have gotten a good. Now I have a fair result.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. They actually got a good, so you two take one ticket down. I know you're hurting pretty bad, and but they make that pass and they move around to us. You guys want to do anything like shoot at them from the ground, or the Huey should be here soon, but
probably just try to run towards the helicopters that are picking us up, but to make it quicker.
Sure.
But
all right, so you
zigzag while I run, so I'm a harder target to hit.
And of course, you guys have got the coffin with you, though.
Oh yeah.
And you start to run off, and then you're like,
"Oh wait, what am I doing?"
No, I'd read you. I know what I will do. And your friend gets in the truck. He starts driving off, boom, 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 off of off the path, following you as you run. You guys are all going towards the Huey. How about you following along, 13 and Mr. Smith, or what are you guys doing?
Yeah. I mean, if I can jump back on the bed of the truck or whatever.
Oh, sure.
Try that.
Yeah, I love the idea of like stepping up onto the rail and kind of hanging on there. As you guys at 13, I assume you're gonna go with.
Yes.
All right. Well, the Huey comes roaring in, and the other little helicopters zip off away, afraid of it. This is unmarked, though. There's not like any great big American flag on this or anything. And as I say, it was flying really low in the first place. And it comes whoop, 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 chased off the little gnats. It's like a great big fat wasp has come in and chased off some gnats just before they get you. Whoop, 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 whoop. And you guys are able to get on, and you pull on the coffin. Oh, it's still covered with the tarp, and these guys aren't asking any questions. One of them just turns around, gives you a thumbs up sign. It doesn't even. There's obviously not Colonel Sanders himself flying it, although that would have been funny. I came as soon as I could. No, but the guy they got to fly it turns around, gives you a thumbs up. Again, their uniforms don't have any insignia or anything on them or names. Saeed comes up to you and he's, I must go. My place is here. I must not come with you.
Well, you've been a lot of help. Thank you, my friend.
You have too.
Thanks a lot.
Yes. I hope I will see you again in happy times.
Don't name any of your children Osama.
Oh, never. I would never.
Yeah.
Well, there's much love for you, my friend, and he kisses you on both cheeks, and you wave at him goodbye. He waves at you as he gets smaller and smaller as the Huey rolls up in the air with your precious cargo, the body of Alexander the Great, who you now know to be immortal. But what future adventures and mysteries and ancient artifacts of power will the top man encounter? Presumably many, many more someday. But for now, their adventures are over. So in 2 weeks, our next episode is our 200th. And yeah, we're going to do something special for it. So we will see you then. And after that, we have a lot more fun stuff coming down the pipe.
Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.